Hey guys, welcome back to the shop. Welcome back to Worth Guitars. Today we got a video. We're going to do a product review. I don't do many of these. Matter of fact, I think this is probably the only one I've ever done, except for like the nut gauge and the Z-epoxy and things, but I'm not really reviewing it. I'm just showing you how I use it. But this is something that I haven't used before, and I'm using it on this T-style build. This guitar here will be up for sale. This is one of our little stock guitars that I'm doing just to get it ready to go. And I'm using a product called Nitor lac on there, Nitor lac. And this is the primer. This is available through, let's see, All Parts. I got this through All Parts. And so I saw it on there and I thought that'd be kind of cool to just do one-offs, you know, little guitars, just bodies like this, something I'm only gonna do one of them real quick. And so I tried it out to see. And this is the primer. I've already done the primer. I'm gonna have to say I'm very happy with the way the primer lays out and sands. Pretty cool. I see I got a couple little divots in here I need to take care of before I put the top coat on there. So I'm gonna do that real quick. Get that done, get that prepped up. And then we're gonna put a Sonic Blue, a coat of Sonic Blue. This is what it looks like right here. And I'll put some info on it in the comment section or the description section. You know what I'm talking about, underneath there. So we're gonna try this out. We'll get this prepped, go in the spray room, and I'm gonna hit it with this blue. I'll bring it back out, let you see what it looks like so far. We'll do a time lapse thing or whatever. We'll see how it looks when we get a few coats on there. And we'll see how well the Nitor lac does. I'm very curious to see how well it works. So let's get that going. I'll be right back. Thanks for watching. By the way, right down in this corner right here is a little subscribe button. Hit that if you haven't subscribed already. If you have, thank you. You're awesome. I'll be right back. Okay, so I was gonna put a little spot primer on here. I got two little tiny divots in the guitar. You know, no matter how many times you sand it and look at it, just about the time you get ready to spray finish on it, you see something else you missed. You gotta hold it up in the light all different kinds of ways and look at it. So there was one little tiny dot here and one little tiny dot there, and I would show them to you, but you wouldn't be able to see them. But instead of doing that, I decided that I would just see what kind of grain filling or filling capabilities the Nitor lac has. You know, if you have a little dot or a little dent in a guitar that you're using Nitor lacquer on, you can do what's called a drop fill. You just take a little dot of lacquer and let it drip onto the little hole there and let that dry real well. Then you can come back, scrape that off carefully with a razor blade, and then sand it flat and keep on moving on, you know. So I'm gonna try that with this also. Right now I'm just gonna sand the top with some 400 grit. You can see it powders up real nice. That's what you want. It's not loading up the sandpaper real bad. Let it dry for a couple of days, you know, while I'm hanging around doing other things. Like I say, this is just a what I would call a stock guitar. And it sands real nice and it seems to fill in the grain really well. This is an alder body, so alder doesn't need a lot of work anyway. It doesn't have a lot of grain to fill as far as like comparing it to mahogany, which is filled with pores. And this just sands really well. I'm getting a really nice smooth coat with that 400 grit. It's filling in whatever grain there was in there really well. I can still see some more down in here I gotta hit. So I'm just gonna do that instead of doing the spot filler on there. Because this looks like it's really working well. It sands very easily. Steve's over there rounding over fret ends. Say hey, Steve.
Hey, Steve.
Show him what you're doing, Steve.
Filing.
Filing. Rounding over fret ends. Another one of those really fun jobs, rounding over front ends. Needs to be done though. Very important. It's funny, you can hold a guitar like this, flat, and the light coming down, it looks like it's sanded well. You don't see any little grain areas or anything, any little sinks in the finish. But then if you hold it up like this and you let the light hit it at a different direction, all of a sudden you can really see the little spots that you missed. So it's important to move it around and look at it from different angles. Yeah, that's looking good. Looking good. Almost there. A little bit more right here. Okay, that looks like it's ready for color. I'll get it cleaned off, I'll take it in a booth, hit it with some color, bring it back out. Let's just see what we got going on, okay? I'll be right back. Okay, so this is basically 2 light coats. It comes out in a very fine mist when you spray it. And this is what I would say 2 coats. I went over it one time and then just went right back around the whole thing again. And you can see it still has some white in there. I don't know if you can see it or not. Probably not. But I can still see the white base coat underneath because it comes out in such a fine mist. It's not like spraying a gun by any stretch of the imagination. But it comes out nice. Nice color. So what I'm going to do is just go ahead and let this set up and hit it. Just go ahead and spray out the rest of the can on here. Block that down and then put a clear coat over top of it. And that should look really nice. That's Sonic Blue. That is their Sonic Blue. Let me get under the light here. Sonic Blue. Very pretty. So this guitar will have black hardware. All black hardware. Maple neck. Obviously 2 humbuckers. Hardtail bridge. String through. So we'll just keep time lapsing this and we'll see what it looks like until it's done, okay? But so far, I'm liking it. I'll be right back. Okay, this is after, say, 4 light coats, which would be 2 thick coats, but you can't spray it thick because you know, it's a can. It's just barely coming out, a mist. But it lays down nice. We'll say there's a little orange peel you got to sand back. But it looks like it lays down well and it feels well. Those little dents I told you about, there's one there and there's one there. Little tiny little dents in the top. And maybe one little small one right there. So I'm going to take a little bit of that and I'm going to just do a drop fill right in those dents and see how it works for that. I'll just spray a little bit in a cup, get a toothpick, do little drop fills, and we'll see how that goes. I can see that I did not really sand as well as I should have in this area right here now that it's got a gloss on it. And so when I sand this back and sand it down flat, I may have to hit these areas again. And Steve's here. Say hey, Steve.
Hey, Steve.
So anyway, yeah, that's where we are for 2 coats. That's looking pretty good, ain't it?
Man, I tell you what, that's pretty sharp.
It's nice. Nice color.
I like it.
It's going to have black hardware. I think this is going to be pretty sexy. All right, so that's 2 coats Nitor lac. We'll keep on going on this. We'll do a little play-by-play, see how it goes, and that's it for the moment. All right, we'll be back. All right, so we're going to do a little drop fill with this and see how it works for that. One little dent there, one there, one there. It's all the little dents that I see. Any defects really show up, especially after you get some gloss on it. The hardest part of building a guitar to me is finishing it.
Amen, brother.
Amen, brother. All right, so let's do this. We're just going to spray a little bit in this cup here. As you can see, it's pretty thin. Very thin, like water. So I don't know how it'll work for this, but we'll try it. So I have one of these little droppers. StuMac sells them for doing drop fills. Got a little tiny hole in it. Can you see that? Let's see if I can get where you can see it. You can see that? Hard to film. Okay. I'm just going to pick up a little bit and drop it in that dot there and see what happens. Can't get it to drop out. All right, got a little bit of that done. Get you a little closer. You can't see them, but there's little tiny dots right there. One there and one there. And I'm just taking a little bit of that and doing a little drop fill right there. Like that. We'll see how well it fills in. All right, so we'll let that dry, see what happens. We'll come back in a little bit. I actually think I'm just gonna let this dry for the rest of the day because it's got a couple of good coats on it now. If you try to sand lacquer too fast, it's just gonna gum up your paper. So I'm gonna let it get a little harder than it is. It's dry to the touch, but I know it's not dry enough to start sanding it. So we're just gonna let this dry for a while. So I will be back probably tomorrow. One day coming up here to sand this. And we'll see where we're at, all right? back to the shop. So I just wanted to finish up this little product review of this product, Nitor lac, that I showed you guys. I think I have the can somewhere. Let me go find the can, I'll be right back. Okay, sorry about that. I was not prepared for the video. So this is it, Nitor lac. I found this at All Parts. I wasn't even aware that it existed. Found it at All Parts while I was looking for a different product. And I thought, what the heck, I'll give it a try. I will say that it's a little expensive. Looking at the cost of what just this can cost. But if you think about it, and the amount of coats that you have to put on and the hassle of mixing the color. Mixing the colors is a lot of work, trying to get them to be just right. And you know, you have to buy a lot of products to have tints and everything to keep the colors that you want mixed. It's actually a great alternative for just doing paint grade bodies like this, small paint grade bodies, you know, because that can was just enough to do this body. And I like the way it turned out. There's a nice eggshell texture left, so it does need some wet sanding if you want a super high gloss flat finish. I would not suggest sanding on the paint a lot though. Put some clear coat over top of it because it is thin. It comes out very thin coats, like a mist. You have to go over it and over it and over it and over it. This is a whole can to do this body to get a coverage where I felt like there was enough on here to actually wet sand it with some 1200 grit sandpaper, just to knock a little bit of that eggshell surface off and then hit it with the clear coats. So overall though, I'm very, very happy with this product. I like it. I would suggest that you use it. All right, so that's my product review for this product called Nitor lac. I like it. This is Sonic Blue. This is their Sonic Blue color. And it's pretty cool looking. All right, so that's the end of that. But let me put this back up out of the way here. So that guitar is going to have this neck on it with a nice zirconia fretboard, flame maple head plate, beautiful quarter sawn maple neck, jumbo frets, mother of pearl inlay on the fretboard itself or fingerboard, and really cool looking, let me charge them up a little bit, really nice glow in the dark fret markers on the side. Watch this. Can you see them? Yeah. So that'll show up pretty good on a stage, I would say. I would definitely say that would show up. So that guitar, this neck, is very cool looking. I'm gonna get the bridge glued onto the acoustic this week. I wasn't happy with the height of the bridge when I started to put it on, and after I took some final dimensions and got the saddle, I'm just using a unbleached bone for the saddle and for the nut. Gives it kind of an old kind of antique look because it hasn't been bleached really white. But we'll polish it up real well once we get it. This is a compensated bridge. And once we get that, once I get enough finish back on this bridge, we'll get it back on there. Glue it on and she'll be good to go. I'm still putting coats of lacquer on there, trying to fill in this grain some more. And then we should be good to go on that. We get that glued on, get that guitar done. I got a cool video coming up. I'm gonna do a wood filler using Good Filla, this type of powdered filler, and True Oil. I've done some research with it. I've done some testing with it. Very happy with the way it's turned out. I'm going to use this on Ethan Gardner's build. Ethan Gardner's build over here, hold on. So we've got a really pretty mahogany back on here, and it needs to be grain filled. I could just oil it without grain filling it, but I think it'll look better with some grain fill. And I think this is gonna look really well on there. This is gonna darken this mahogany up some, and it'll fill in some of the grain, and I can get a little more glossy finish. And then we're gonna do grain fill on the top and a slight burst around the outer edge here, just a very light burst around the outer edge, just to give that top a little pop. And this will be gloss lacquer on the top. Everything else will be oil except for this and the head plate. and the rest will have a nice oiled neck on it and back. So we'll have a nice satiny finish when it's done. And I'll be using True Oil to do that. So that's coming up. In my next video, we're gonna do that. We're gonna get this going and we'll get that done. And I think that's all I got for you today. The Nitor lac is a good product. I suggest trying it out. If you're just painting a little body, you know, you wanna spruce up one that you already have, or you've made one or bought one that you need some color on, look into that. I think that StewMac makes something similar, but I really like that product. Works well. The drop fill that I did worked well. Came back, sanded that flat, no problems there. So I like it. And you can spray clear lacquer over top of it, and I like that. All right, so I think that's all I got for today, guys. That'll finish up this video, the product review for Nitor lac. I hope you guys are having a good one out there. I hope life is treating you well. Be good to each other. We'll see you around somewhere, all right? Peace. We'll see you. Bye.